Right, so moving forwards from this point, Ash, Charlie, Bradley, is we're going to then have 3 buttons on the stage. And each one's going to have a label over the top of it, which will just be some text that says fox, lion, and frog. The 3 things that I've got. You might have different animals. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have, at the start, one of the sounds will play. You will then click on the right button. If you get it correct, it will take you to the next scene when we have those scenes. So what we need to do, I'll just close actions down for a minute, is to have 3 of the buttons. It'll help if you just use the same button, but it's up to you. So I'm going to bring another circle on, and then another one on. Line them up, zoom out a little bit. I'm just going to try and center them a bit. You'll notice when you move things around, you should get some hints with lines. Okay, so I've got 3 buttons in the middle. One of them's got an instance name if I look in properties, blue circle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the instance name. So I'm going to have fox_MC, lion_MC, and frog_MC. George, you're probably going to be best off sitting with Emily and Lottie so that you can follow through together at the same time and support each other. Or you can stay there if you want, if you're already logged in. You're close enough. You're only... So frog_MC. And then what I want to do is label these. So I'm just going to very simply put a text label over the top. So I click on the text tool. The color perhaps doesn't need to be bright pink. I might just choose a white or a light blue white. I click somewhere on the screen, and what it'll do is it'll create a box. It'll be small to start off with, and I'm just going to put in there fox. I'm going to make the size bigger by highlighting all the text and then making the size bigger in the properties until it is visible. I can maybe change the typeface to something a little bit more modern or fun or whatever you want. And then there we go. What I can do is I can copy and paste that, or I could create a new label from scratch. To copy and paste, Control-C, Control-V, or you can hold Alt, click and drag, and it should copy it across. And then all I'm doing is double clicking on it to change it to lion. Same thing again. Quite useful for this. I've used short named animals. Okay. I'm going to pause it while you catch up. Okay, so we've got the button's instance name set up. Instead of it being blue_MC, I've got fox, lion, and frog. My answer string is still going to be lion. Lion_MC got the response will be lion. And obviously for the other 2, it will be slightly different. Frog will be frog, and fox will be fox. If you can just do that step. Yep, I'll just pause this. Okay. Before you type the code in, do what we're doing and then go back to that bit. Okay, so we need to make quite a big change now. The way that we've checked the response has been on the fly, as it were, on the go. And we need to make this work so that we don't have lots and lots of code, if possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bit here that says function down to the end of that function, which is here. So from the start of the word function until the last second curly brace on that line there, I'm going to cut it. So all I should have now is a partially finished line. Above it, I'm then going to paste in what I've just cut. And where it says function, next to it, I'm going to put check response. So what I've done now is I've gone from having an unnamed function to a named function. I then need to go to this bit here and put check response, which makes that line slightly simpler than it was before, but it also makes it a bit more flexible as well, because we're going to be able to reuse the code. Unsnap it. As required. So get to that point and then we'll test it. I'll just test mine now. Undefined property blue, sorry. Need to change that to lion. And that line too. So lion sound plays, click on lion. Argument error tells me off for something close enough for now. One other tiny little addition we need to put in is in those brackets after check response, put the letter E, a colon, and then put mouse event, because the function needs to know what kind of event's triggering it in order for this to work. And just pause it at that point. So at that point, when you click on it, it should give you correct. Then what I want to do is change the word where it says if lion underscore MC. So wherever you've got this function, check response, I'm going to change that by creating a variable. I'll just call it clip of type movie clip. Actually, this is probably overcomplicating it a bit, but let's try it. Clip equals e.target, and then change where it says line underscore MC to clip. Then we want to test that. Right, so before you follow, let's just try current target. Okay, we're going to abandon that. And rather than trying to put it inside of a movie clip, a variable for now, just put e.target response. Then if we click on it, let's just see if it works. It's working. Okay, so that's what you need to do, is you need to change it to e.target.response for now. We can put it inside of a variable, but that'll be a bit of fiddle for now. Once you've done that line, or changed it to that, you can then copy and paste this line twice And you can change it from lion_MC to fox to frog and see what happens. It should just be the same thing. I click on fox, nothing happens. Click on frog, nothing happens. Click on lion. Correct. So I'll just leave that with you for a minute. So you four are all in the same place. It seems to be working. So the only other thing we can do now is respond to if it's not correct to make sure that that's working too. So after this if statement, which is ended by this colon, this curly bracket rather than this one, I'm going to put the word else. Then another curly bracket, then a line return. And notice that it's put an extra curly bracket in for me. After I pressed return, it put this in. So now we're ready to go and put in our response. So if we've got it tracing out correct when it works, what is our response going to be if it's not correct? Okay, and how are we going to do that? Well done. So copy and paste is the best way to start that off. Oops, it's all in capitals. Maybe I should do that then. Then test it and save it as a version if it works. It should basically say incorrect for fox and frog on mine and correct for lion. Good. There's one tiny little amendment that I would make before we save this and before I finish that video at that point. And that is, if you select the text fields, you will notice that in the character bit around here, there's a little selectable button. If you change that selectable button to not selectable for all three of those and then test it, what you'll notice is that when you hover over that text now, it doesn't give you the text selection cursor, which is not what you want. Okay, and that's all good. I will stop that video